Welcome to K Studios. This is Conversations with Kaotick. I am Kaotick, man. I got Kenneth Parlove in the building, man. What's up, man?
What's going on? I'm glad you was able to make it and you got me here.
Man, definitely glad to have you on the show, man. We're gonna keep the major, keep it easy, man. We're gonna start off with some business, man. Tell everybody what you got going on and tell everybody who you is.
Yeah, well, as you said, my name is Kenneth. A lot of people in our area know me. Actually, Kaotick's a good friend of mine from high school. We've been knowing each other, man, about at least 22 years. So It's kind of cool to see everybody, involved. As far as myself, I just got into real estate. I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing it for almost a year. It'll be February 11th will be a year. So it's definitely something that's been paying off, so to speak. It's something good to get into, especially us being Black people. Because when I was in my early 20s and stuff, I knew about real estate, but I didn't know what I know now, and I didn't know how to get into it and stuff. So it's cool because I could kind of set a path or give people examples on how to get involved in it and stuff. And I know you got you a couple businesses and buildings as well, so kind of intertwines with each other. How I got into it, basically, I was just kind of thinking about it one day, and then my wife was talking to me about it as well. And I thought about it, but didn't really think much into it. And then once COVID hit, it was actually right before COVID, maybe January 2020. I looked online, Googled how to become a real estate agent, some stuff locally, because I'm here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So some local stuff popped up, and there was a class that I got into. So I signed up. Then I paid online. It was about, I'm gonna say about $250, 40-hour class. So basically a week long. It was Monday through Friday. I think it was from like 9 in the morning to about 5 in the evening. And every day we touched on different real estate topics, teach you like the legal aspect, teach you the basic principles of like what real estate is, what realty is. It's pretty much all the same thing. But as far as like land, houses, commercial buildings and things like that. So like I said, I took the class. At the end of the class, I had it was like a pre-final exam type thing. So I took that. You had to pass that to get to go take the state exam. So once I got to the state exam, and it was crazy because like I said, I finished in it was a week long. I finished like mid-January of 2020. I got to take the test maybe like 2 times before COVID shut everything down. So I actually failed the 2 times I took it. But I had this lady that was teaching the class, a real cool lady. She always kept me up to speed. She was like, if you fail, let me know. Take a picture of your test, because it had broke down each section of what the topics were.
Mm-hmm.
She would tell me like, "Hey, study this." Like I had it was kind of hard for me. Like the real estate contracts was kind of the hardest thing for me. But she kept telling me like, study this, study that. She wouldn't tell me though exactly what to study, but she was tell me like what chapters and stuff. Right. So I read every day. I get up at like 6 in the morning. I read for a couple hours, take a break, then read again. So it's basically I was just studying. It's the whole time now, because like I said, COVID shut things down. So it's like from March of 2020 until about damn near October, I want to say, they had shut down the testing center. So it opened back up. So I had months to study. And I went back to take the test. I actually failed again. But the lady that I was in contact with, she just kept telling me what to study on areas that I needed improvement on. And I would see it myself, slowly but surely. I was getting my numbers up. Then, long story short, fast forward to, now this was October 2020. So December 2020 was my last time I went. It was like December 15th of 2020. Went in, took the test and finally passed it. It actually took me about 8 times, but I kept reading and studying and reading and just reading. It just got to the point where I felt like I was maybe in the military, so to speak. At like 6, I read, take a break, read again for like a couple hours. Like I got to the point I was reading and reading so much I had to make myself read because I'm like, I don't want to read no more. It was times, man, like when I failed the test, I'm like, man, I didn't want to do this. I was mad. I had all these emotions running through me, like I can't do it. Like, but I just had so much invested in it as far as like taking a class, reading, taking a test, each time. And I'm like, man, I can't give up because I came this far. So I'm gonna learn it. And it was a little, like I said, it was a little hard for me at first because I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't have a real estate background. Like I said, I kind of knew a little bit about it. But now from taking the class and reading, and even I'm with Success Realty right now. It's the firm I work for. And they have continuing education, things of that. So I'm always learning new things. And it's actually, I like it. I like it a lot.
That's amazing, man. And I love the perseverance because that's what it takes, whatever it takes.
Right.
Whatever it takes to get to our goal, man, whatever it takes to make our dreams happen, man. I love the perseverance. And I know it's paying off because, not maybe our listeners don't know, but I know that Grand Rapids is one of the hottest markets in the country. So I'm sure you're reaping the benefits right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I said, and then just me, being a Black man, it feels good that I've got something that I'm like, man, I accomplished something great. I got something that I could, keep moving forward. And actually, like you spoke a while back on one of your podcasts about, generational curses as far as us not knowing things that other folks, know about. So that's like really a good feeling. And then I'm in a situation too where I could pass my knowledge on to other Black people, especially Black men, whether they're younger or even, close to my age. But it's something that's that I really like. I've always kind of been a people person, so I like to help people. So it's like right in my lane, and I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy for you because, like, real estate it's different than a 9 to 5. Real estate is really one step into entrepreneurship. Because you're essentially being hired to work for people. It's almost like working for yourself. Within a company. And like you said, man, it's so much to learn and it's so much to pass down. And it's I'm not sure if people know, man. He said for a small investment, $200 to $300, you can take an online course and educate yourself. You know what I mean? This is what it's about this time and age. It's about us getting more knowledge or getting different knowledge and putting it to work. And that's what you did, man. And that shows great leadership. That shows great responsibility, and that shows a grind. And that's what we need, man. I'm extremely happy for you, and I'm glad you a year in, and let the years roll back. You know what I mean? Let next year be better than this one. You feel me?
Yeah. I already got some goals set for next year as far as like volume sales. I set me a goal for 3 million. As of right now, my sales from the last year, and like I said, I ain't even been in it a full year, but they just count this past January to the end of this year. I've done, it's not exactly, but just because I got the exact numbers not on me, but I did about 1.6 million in sales volume in my first year. So that's like really a good accomplishment for me, because a lot of people don't know that once you get in, you gotta, like you said, or you always gotta grind, you always gotta stay focused, you gotta put the footwork in, because it's basically running your own business.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't invest in yourself and put that work in, it's like, for instance, say I open up a clothing store, but I'm not continually trying to develop my knowledge, and I'm just, half-assing, then my business is gonna fail, So you gotta always, it's just like the mentality of a street dude, dude hustling, and he's putting his stuff up, and he's just keep hustling and get to, a point where he's good or gets out. You got to put this, it's almost the same, but it's legal, So you just always got to put that work in. No matter what you do, just put the work in. You got to believe in yourself. You got to invest in it. And once you get all that together, you just got to just keep moving. Once you get your feet going, and you get a little bit of movement, and just keep that moving to where you eventually build up, and you get you're running with it by then, So
Man, I'm with it. You know what I mean? It definitely, when you apply pressure to things and when you apply energy to something, it does snowball. You know what I mean? When you start chasing something, it gets closer, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? And when you can reach out and touch it, that feeling, you know what I mean, is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And like, a lot of people, they want to just get to the bigger picture, so to speak, without putting that work in. But which, like, a lot of people, like I said, you don't realize you gotta put that work in, because that's how you get to where you want to be. And then once you get there, you got to build up some more, like make a crazy goal for yourself that seems unrealistic. But in your mind, you're like, I know I'm gonna get there because I already did this. I could do something way bigger, You just gotta motivate. And like I said, once you get all that stuff and you get used to putting in work and grinding, man, it's gonna come naturally, but you just can't be lazy with that's what, like anything you do, you can't be lazy. And there's been times, like I said, I don't want to quit, give it up, but I'm like, man, I'm trying to change, better myself, and even try to, like I said, even I got information for people that, hit me up. I try to point them in the right direction. I might not tell you everything you need to know, but I'm in the right direction, because you got to learn yourself too. And that's just like, trying to put myself in a position to where, I got a better life for myself, my family, kids and things like that. And also being able to set an example to be like, man, if he could do it, I could do it.
Man.
And, it's been plenty of times I've worked some, some shitty jobs, like, man, but you got to kind of use that as a stepping stone, because, you might not exactly be where you want to be at, but you got to start somewhere. But you got, like I always had that mind, like, I don't want to get comfortable and just be comfortable with anything. Like you gotta want more out of life. And like I said, a lot of people don't know about that. They get so comfortable with how they've been doing things. And, as us being Black men and growing up, some of us didn't have the, I wouldn't say maybe luxuries, but some of us didn't have the ability, or I'm trying to make it make sense. Didn't have some other people have
the tools or the resources. I'm following you, man. I'm following you, because it be like that, man. And you said the right things. You got to put the work in. You got to be determined. You got to persevere through obstacles. You know what I mean? And because like I can definitely relate to that, because I don't know, it's a syndrome, or I want to call it something like when you graduate high school as a Black man, right? And you ain't got no plan, shit get dark real quick. We get pushed out into the world without a real solid plan, and it takes us a while before we able to gain some traction and create something substantial.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I know, like, graduating high school, I'm like, what now?
Right.
It don't take no more than a week before you waking up without having to go to school till you start looking around like, okay, what the fuck am I finna do? I need some money.
Right. A lot of cats I pick up in the street game, like for instance, when we was back in high school, cats was in school, but then we ain't see them no more. And then, running into them, like on the weekend or something, and they like all fresh and fly, but they ain't going to school. And at the time back then, but then you get older and you see it, you're like, oh man, these cats was, hustling or doing whatever they was doing. And I think back at it sometimes like, man, if I had known or had some, additional resources, I could have figured something out way back then. But, it's never too late. But especially now, information is right there. You can just Google something, how to start a business or whatever, whatever you like to do, find something you're good at and just keep going with it. And like I said, as far as working odds and then jobs, I had some pretty decent jobs in the past before, but things didn't last. So sometimes you gotta get what you gotta get. And like I said, I just would use those as stepping stones. And it's like I gotta figure something out and start figuring it out. And I ain't gonna say I got it all the way, but I'm there. And I got something I could, continue to do for years and years, and hopefully make it in my 60s still doing it. And like I said, a lot of cats we grew up with, fell victim to the streets, whether it was hustling, got locked up. A lot of cats, died and stuff. And it's just crazy, but it's also cool to see, like, for instance, you and I, you got your stuff going on. You definitely in a better position than you was, 10, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You always been putting in the work too to get where you at. And, you kept grinding it out and, doing the same thing. So I'm like, man, we, ran back into each other, kind of caught each other up to speed. I'm like, man, that's cool. I congratulate. I like to see people doing good, especially people I know. But even as Black people, like it's like we don't congratulate enough.
Man.
Like we don't stick together enough. No, it's crazy.
You absolutely right. We don't support each other. It's I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's envy. You don't want to see and this is the kicker for me. And this is why I tried to create this podcast or this show, right? We don't share information.
Right.
That is important. We need to work together. Unity is important. We need to share information.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's too much competition. It's no knock on me if I can get you in the clothing game or whatever what I'm doing. It's no knock on you. You know what I mean? If you need to know some steps or whatever, long as if the shoe on the other foot, long as if you got some information I need, I can get it.
Right.
If we can swap, we can go back and forth. Long as it's like that, man, we can work. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and then like some people don't want to take the advice, or if somebody tries to, tell them something they don't know, they get offended about it. Like, who this they think they are, and it's not nobody saying that you're lesser than them or you're not smarter than them. People take it, the wrong way. But, I like I said, people ask me all the time about things, and I'll point them in the right direction. But I'm not gonna tell you everything I know. You know what I'm saying? Because that kind of would defeat the purpose. Because the next person wouldn't want to put the work in. But I definitely am the type of person like I'll lead you to where you need to get if somebody ever asks me like how'd you get involved, or I have people sometimes message me on Facebook like, hey, I got a question. Can you help me out? And I'll answer it to the best of my ability, but I won't, give them the general, like, if that makes sense.
I'm with you because I can do that because I'm not gonna do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna do it for you.
Show you how to get there. I won't, like you said, I won't do it for you. And that's where like a lot of people, especially being Black men, they get mad at you because you don't want to tell them how to do it. They don't want to, gain the information that they need, because what I did might not work good for you. You know what I'm saying? And what you did may not work good for me. But since you went through it, you can pass that knowledge on, and then the person will be like, oh yeah, and it's I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy. It's like we're getting better, but it's still like it's I think it's something that's been around forever. The mindset of Black men.
Yeah.
Is mindset like
we got to kick that. We got to work together. You know what I mean?
Like why would I be mad at this person for having this or that when I could go get something the same, or I could get something better, like everybody else, like Jewish people, their money circulate within the community. They help themselves out. They pass their knowledge on. Asian community.
Working it.
Yeah, man.
Working it, killing them.
The Arabic community.
Killing them.
And who else? White people. It's like everybody except us, And then if we do got a group of us together, people like, oh man, these niggas think they better than each other. It's like, it's crazy, man. And like, I never, even when I was a kid and even high school, like I don't know if it was the way I was brought up or it was just the type of person I am, but I never got mad at somebody for doing good or maybe having something that I didn't have because
winning.
I'm
gonna hate you for winning.
Right.
That's some sucker shit. I'll call it what it is. That's some sucker shit. I'm not gonna hate on you because you winning. You know what I mean? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get in the game.
Right.
I ain't gonna sit on the sideline. I've never been that dude to sit on the sideline and watch you win. Nah, I want to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I might not win, but I'm a score. You feel me? Man.
Even like it might be a pride thing too. Like they don't want to be like, ask their homeboy, like, hey man, give me some knowledge about this, or how did you get into that? Maybe it's that. I don't know. But you can't be afraid to ask, because like I said, when I was doing my schooling And the lady that was teaching the class, like, I'd ask questions, man. She would even say, like, and everybody said this before, like, don't ever think a question is too dumb to ask. If you don't know, you don't know. You gotta ask. And books, man. Like I got me back into the library. I got a library card a couple months ago. I've been reading real estate books, trying to, master my craft and stuff. So it's definitely, man, knowledge is out there. You just gotta go take advantage of it.
I mean, it's the same with me. You know what I mean? And like another thing you said that really hit home with me is that, you know what I mean, you a lot of the time you do things to represent, to show people it can be done. That is exactly a lot of things that motivate me. You know what I mean? That's honestly why I'm still grinding right now, to show my brothers and sisters, to show my peers, to show my community that these things can be done. You know what I mean? It's possible. You know, it's possible. You know what I mean? These things can be done. You can open up a business. You can transition to entrepreneurship outside of your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? You can own a home. You can own real estate. You know what I mean? You can live this American dream that they talk about. You know what I mean? In whatever way you like. You know what I mean? It's really about your mindset. Right? That's what separates people, because we're all the same at the end of the day. It's the way we think that makes us great. That's what separates the ignorant from the great. It's the way you think and how you handle situations.
I agree with you 100% on that, man. Because, like, I passed before, kind of, been into trouble and things of that nature. But it's how you learn from those experiences and get your mind state together. Like, man, okay, I can't keep getting myself in, like, because like I said, I know some cats from back high school. It's like a revolving door. They keep going to jail, come out, and keep, and it's like a revolving door, and you got to be one of them persons to be like, man, okay, I've learned, and you got to switch up your mind, like you said, and can't keep doing the same old thing, because you're going to get the same results. And I also think a lot of people might be afraid to hop outside of the box. You gotta get, like myself, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I've done outside of my comfort zone as far as real estate, but you got to get outside that comfort zone. And you get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and you learn from that, and it just, it just keep you moving and moving. But you can't just be in the same mind state, like, I'm comfortable with just sitting around wasting time all day, or whatever the case may be. You gotta just, that's part of like breaking, so to speak, the curses and stuff,
You have to try, right? And there's lessons in failure. You can't be scared to fail, because that's how you learn. You know what I mean? And you're absolutely right about getting outside your comfort zone. Like, I'm in a construction field. That was new for me. You know what I mean? Like you had a new endeavor that opened up more doors. You know what I mean? Like, I had a logistics background, warehouse work. You know what I mean? And I had just hit the ceiling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, management is not for everybody. You know what I mean? So like I was in a logistics position, you know what I mean? And like I said, I had hit the ceiling. It wasn't that much more money to be made. I had already worked my way up as high as I was going to get. You know what I mean? They it gets difficult for people in management that where you that's outside of my comfort zone, because none of my peers are there, right? If you get what I'm trying to say, I'm in management with a bunch of people who don't look like me, who can't relate to me, and it makes it difficult to do my job. So I had to reinvent myself. It's very similar to you getting into real estate. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I got to reinvent myself, because ain't no more money in this for me. Or
Right.
I've got all this money. I need to get some more money. I need to climb up the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you, education, right? I went and educated myself to be able to switch paths in my career. You know
Right.
what I mean? And that gave me opportunity and growth. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. You know, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be
Right.
willing to learn. You got to be, and you got, like you said, man, you hit all the points very great. Put in the work, because I'm not getting there without work. You know what I mean? School was challenging. School is supposed to be. You're
Yeah.
learning new things.
Yeah. It's just like go back to the job thing, like you were saying, the management and logistics. Like I was kind of not in the same field, but as far as like working, because a few years back, I was at this box factory, and I started as a temp, got hired in, learned how to work the machines, and end up running a machine that made boxes. It was easy, but then at the same time, it was manual labor, and I wasn't getting what I felt my talents was worth. Like I was supposed to get a raise. I got a raise when I got hired in. Then I got like another one, but I was supposed to get a higher raise for operating. And I'm asking, like, oh, I got to check, with the office. I got to check with the office. I'm like, man, but at the same time, like I'm working overtime, I'm putting in the work, and it be to a point though where they'll like have mandatory overtime. And I'm like, man, I'm doing all this, but y'all, I'm asking for what I'm supposed to get is the machine operator, but y'all want to be hesitant about it. So I'm like, man, so I stuck it out. I was there a few years, and ended up I quit. Then I had this job because I quit because I had another job lined up that was actually working on houses, like putting siding up, painting, doing like on the roof and stuff like that. It's basically like custom type. It was a company. It was custom home type things, and I remember the last job I was at the custom place, we was redoing. You know how they have the houses, but the bottom house apartment and the top one is apartment. So we was at the top one. We redoing the whole thing, and I even remember we was working in Grand Haven until we had a job out there. So they was switching me back and forth, and we was working on these condos. And what's crazy is one day I didn't have a ride. So I had caught the Uber out to Holland. It was like $50, $56. A long story short, they ended up letting me go. And the dude that let me go, he was like, he claimed I wasn't making him no money. And he said I didn't see any effort. But I'm thinking in my mind, like, shit, I ain't have a ride. This is in Holland. It's 45-minute drive down there. I'm in the Uber, my tab $50. How is that not showing drive that you want to work? But it was what it was. I didn't complain. I was like, shit, fuck it. And, I ended up my last job I had before I started the real estate thing. I was at the car wash, and so that's when I started putting things together. Like, man, I'm gonna find something that's that I want to do. That's right up my alley, and that's how I started thinking. I was like, man, it's got to be something better, something that'll actually be nice for me, and that's how I ended up real estate where I'm at. So
I can definitely relate, man. I've had some. It's been a long journey. I've had I've had job after job after job after job after job. We are in similar situations because I'm finally at a place to where this is the last one. You know what I mean? I'm gonna retire. You know what I mean? Probably in this field because there's so much growth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, and there's so much growth. I'm educated in the field I'm in now, and yeah, man, like I can tell you about something. I've had jobs. I walk right out.
Man,
I
shit,
can't do
me
this shit, bro. You tripping, bro.
especially
You tripping,
know,
bro.
in my early and shit. I'll put it here like I'll be 40 in March. So I know people probably watching us like, damn, he look young, you know, but it's just how I look. I look young. But you know, when we was in our early 20s, man, there's been some jobs too. Like I went work a day and I'm like, man, I ain't coming back here, you know. But
Man, bro, man.
And it's like, especially these days, like I've been noticing like a lot of places are short staffed, but I think a lot of people now are getting away from that because they're undervalued, you know, that they working and people don't never want to pay you your worth, you know. And that's why I think a lot of it, because you know the news and stuff, people been complaining like, oh, it's a worker shortage, but I don't think a lot of people fail to realize that it might be the companies. You know, it's not the workers, because who want to bust their ass and they've been at the same spot 10 years, making the same pay they were 10 years ago. You know.
I mean, like I think the pandemic allowed people to reset, and
Yeah.
then, like you said, there's so many courses and education that's at your fingertips on the computer. You know what I mean? And then once people find out they can get paid to work from home, that changed the game.
Yeah, that's what that's like I said, I took advantage of that, man, because I don't think, I think I still would have made it with real estate, but as far as like working at the same time and trying to, you know, gain my knowledge doing the class. And well, actually I was still working doing the class, but you know, it gave me more time to focus all my energy into what I need to focus. And that's what kind of helped me. It was like, it seemed like it was perfect timing. And like I said, I know I'm not the only one, but I feel a lot of people during that time was like, shit, I got to switch gears. What can I do to get myself to the next level? And I think a lot of people may have started looking at trades and things like I did, because you could go get your trade. They got trade classes, carpentry, you know, all that stuff, or even like you said, how to start a business. And people probably realize and start reading and gaining that knowledge to where they got themselves in a better situation. But at the same time, though, you got to want to get yourself out of a better situation. You can't just sit there and think something just gonna fall in your lap, because it's not.
Definitely not. What's the word? Like you have to put energy behind what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to reinvent yourself, it took energy, didn't it, Ken? It took energy to create this person you are now. You know what I mean? Like we create our future. You know what I mean? The decisions you make now are what's gonna mold the next chapter in your life. You know what I mean? The decisions you make now are gonna mold the next chapter in your life. You know what I mean? So make sure you keep that in mind when you're making decisions.
Mm-hmm. And then even for like the younger people, like, you know, maybe high school or people that's in their early 20s, like it's things available out there. It's trades and different situations to get out that regular lifestyle, so to speak, where you could, you know, elevate to where you want to be, where you're happy at what you're doing. But it's not overnight though. You know, took a while. Sometimes it take years. Sometimes people, you know, it's hard for people to keep moving and kind of, you know, keep themselves like, man, I gotta do something different. This ain't working. I gotta switch this way. If that ain't working, find something else. Like people seem like they'll give up too easy, and you can't do that. You'll be stuck where you're at.
Get nowhere. You'll never get nowhere. You can't never give up. If you want something, make it happen.
Man, yeah.
Make it happen, bro. Make it happen.
If the doors keep closing, you gotta kick one open. You know?
Pry that bitch off if you got to. Get through there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, when we first started, you kind of ran down how you got into real estate. So once you got in, let's give some people a little bit of knowledge on how did you get your first client?
Actually, my first client was somebody I went to school.
Right.
Yeah. And he was like, man, it's crazy what happened too, because he was like, hold on, give me a second. I think my little stuff's making noises. I'm going to turn that off. All right. But yeah, like I was saying, it was somebody from high school. I don't know if you know him as Barbie's brother, BJ.
Okay.
And he had a house in Muskegon and he was trying to sell. He said he went through like 3 other realtors and they was like giving he had it listed for what he wanted for. He was trying to sell it for $50,000. And he kept getting like low offers, like $25,000, $30,000. I think they kind of weren't working with him right. But anyway, long story short, he's like, man, Ken, I got this house, bro. I'm trying to sell. And at first, like we know each other on a personal level, but at first he was kind of leery just because the other 3 realtors didn't get the job done. And he's like, man, no, I don't want that to happen. I'm like, sure, I'm gonna, put my all in. I put my all into every client.
Right.
But I'm like, I gotta get him results. And I'm like, man, I was nervous and stuff, but I'm like, man, I don't want the same thing to happen. But got him as my client, did the paperwork, listed the house. I didn't put like an offer due date when it was on the market. I just let it ride. And 2 weeks later, he got an offer at what he wanted. I called him, told him. He's like, oh man, yeah, I accept it. Hell yeah. Like, bro, you the man. And then it was crazy too, because just because you get the offer, you still got to go through certain things.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go through the funding, but I knew that the people that was buying the house was serious because they had like they put up almost half the money up front. They put down like $15,000-$20,000 deposit. So I'm like, oh, they serious, But and then I still had to put in work after that though, because you got 30 days from the date that the offer is accepted, and anything can happen as far as like the buyer's financing falling through. Then you have to put the house back on the market. But everything was smooth. But we got this one thing because my homeboy bought the house for a steal, but he bought it through like a quick claim deed, which is basically the title was clouded, so they had to do that to clear the title. So it was this guy that actually owned the property before he bought it from his cousin. So it was like the original owners of the house almost, and it was a married couple. So the title company that was working with me on this deal, it was like, you got to get a hold. We need some information from the original owners. So I'm like, dang, I got the information. The lady that I work with at the title company, she couldn't get a hold of the guy. So I'm like, man, my homeboy actually had dual numbers. So he gave me the number. I'm like, man, I'm gonna call him, but I didn't call him, I texted him. And what I did first to let him know that I was official, because it's a lot of scammers out here, man. So I sent him a picture of my business card. And then I just got to the point and I told him who I was. I told him about my homeboy that bought the house from him. I was like, can you please, I'm like, we're trying to close this deal. Could you please send me or send my title lady? All we need is a copy of your ID. And I was like, and a copy of the lady's ID. But he was like, we've been divorced for X amount of years. What else did he say? He's like, I don't know how to get a hold of her. But he actually took a picture of his ID and sent it to me. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh. So I called my homeboy up. I'm like, bro, I got what we need. He's like, bullshit. I'm like, nah, man. He's like, oh man. He's like, you the man, bro. You the man. I'm like, yeah, let me get this in the title. So, we actually closed it up and shoot, he was happy. He want to do something soon, maybe in spring again. He bought another house, fixing it up. He probably wants me to help him sell that. So that's actually how I got my first client. Then I had got some clients just from referrals from somebody I know. They referred them to me. So it was like a couple of my clients were just random people. But like I said, I'm the type of person I've always treated people how I wanted to be treated. And that's kind of a big thing in what I do now, because some people are just, the money's great. I love, getting paid, but at the same time, some people are just in it for the check. They don't care about anything. Like I said, I treat people how I want to be treated. Communication is the key as well. You always got to stay in contact with your clients. I also had some of my other clients were just friends from different schools.
So what advice would you give somebody who wants to be a realtor?
Sure, I'd tell them to find out where you could get your classes. Like I said, I went online, Googled how to become, we're in Michigan, so I Googled how to become a realtor or how to get my real estate license in Michigan. The whole thing will pop up. They have online courses, but I actually did a physical class. So it was like I was going to school almost, because I'm the type, I gotta get in a classroom environment because it's easier to learn that way versus online. And then I also heard it was harder online too. And I don't have a physical person that I could that's teaching the class that I could ask my questions and things like that. And then we also, while I was taking the classes, we had like little group exercises and things like that. So like for anybody that's interested in getting into real estate, like I said, just Google how to become a real estate agent, whether it's Michigan, Texas, Idaho, Iowa, even if you're out of the country, say you stay in London, you Google how to become a real estate agent in London. It'll pop up. You're gonna have to do a little bit of searching, but not much, because it'll have, like I said, online classes, or it'll have like some real estate companies actually will offer the class as well. So you just basically sign up. It ranges. It depends too where you're at, what state. Price range may vary from anywhere from $200 to maybe $300 for the course. You sign up. You bring your ID with you. They give you your book. Matter of fact, I still got my book. I still go through here if I need to brush up on something. It's a really good book. It's not available though, because I had people asking me like, where can I get this book? Or can I get it on Amazon? No, you actually have to go sign up and take the class. So that's pretty much how you do it. Just Google it.
What would what advice would you give to somebody who's preparing to purchase their first property?
As far as like being the first time,
what's the first thing they need to do, or what do they absolutely have to have in order to be in a ball game to buy a house?
But basically, you got to have some all right credit. And it's kind of cool because I noticed, I don't know if you remember Antoinette that used to go to Central, Antoinette Robinson. She's a credit repair lady. She actually does what she does because, you know, there's people out there claiming they can help you with credit, ain't doing nothing or scamming, you know, but she's legit because I sent a few people to her, but it's up to you to actually listen to what she says because she can help you. But yeah, credit, number one, credit. Number two, you gotta have a job. You gotta have 2 years worth of job history. Then you would reach out to a mortgage lender. You reach out to them. They will pull your credit. Normally, like the lender I work with, is normally about 620 for credit. But if you're at 600, they might could work with you. But it's more, like I said, credit, your debt to income, student loans also. So you can't have anything in like default. Everything has to be current, even if we have things in, what is it called? Deferment, I think. That won't go against you, but it has to be current. It can't be behind. Then the lender will do what they do, check the numbers, and then, like I said, the amount you get approved for is based on your debt to income. Now, I'm not a credit specialist because I know a lot of people are like, "What's debt to income?" And I'm not too sure.
It's the debt to income is it's your cash flow versus your bills.
Yeah,
you gotta have like 2 or 3 times much cash flow as you got
bills. Yeah,
bills.
So if your bills is outweighing your cash flow,
your debt to income ratio low.
Yeah.
But if you're making way more than you spending, your debt to income ratio is good.
Yeah. And like I said, it's also credit classes as well. You could go get you some credit literacy classes that'll help you build your credit. And like I said, the girl I know, she can help you build your credit too. But that's pretty much it. Just job history, credit. You also have to have some money saved up as well. It'd be real easy for like a down payment. I noticed some people that have a couple thousand. Some people may have like 5,000. Some people may have 10,000. But you at least got to have some money saved up, at least a couple thousand for your down payment. Like I said, the lenders that you work with, they'll let you know more. I've never been a numbers guy, but you know, but that's pretty much it as far as that. Also, if you're in the military, you can apply for a VA loan. Basically, they the VA loan pay. I think it's like 100% of the grant, I believe. And even, I'm not telling people you should go in default, but even if you default, as far as paying your mortgage, the government will pay that off. So it's federally backed by a government program, which is the Veterans Affairs. And you got to have proof of being active or non-active, or
so every vet should be on top of You know,
Yeah,
every vet should take advantage of that. Sound like.
yeah. And even if you're married and your spouse is in the armed forces, that also can help you too. Or say somebody that's married and their spouse died, but one of the spouses was in the military. The spouse that's living will get the benefit.
Qualifies. She qualifies for a VA loan. He,
Yeah,
she.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Here, and then that's also kind of it's all based on credit too, but VA is certain it's more helpful because it's government, you know.
right.
And
Government gonna give you some money. You better take it.
man, right. And then they also be a cash buyer as well, but you got to have a paper trail, you know. So it's not like if somebody selling drugs, they got 20,000 and 50,000 in cash at their crib in the safe. You can't, you know, you might not be able to
Can't
do
buy
it.
a house in cash, bro.
Yeah, you got to have the
Not
paper.
not if you're trying to get a mortgage. The mortgage is gonna want documentation where every nickel came from, bro.
Right. And then also during that process, people tend to be like, well, since since I got this mortgage loan or I'm approved, I got a pre-approval. Can I go buy a new car? No, you know, because that's gonna mess you up. Anytime you get pre-approved, they want to know where every dollar is going, where it's coming in at, what
If
it's getting spent for.
if you've been pre-approved, don't let anyone pull your credit.
Right, right. Don't open up no new credit cards. Don't finance anything. None of that. You
It's
just
gonna
gotta.
change your score, which is gonna change everything.
So you just gotta basically go to work and
Deposit
save,
some checks.
pay your bills,
Yep.
you
And
know,
sit tight.
pay off, you know, keep doing that stuff. If you got some stuff that you could pay off, you could pay that off too. But yeah, it's just when you're pre-approved, you just gotta be tight until you find the house and it closes. So that's some options for people. It's a lot of options out there. It's also some first time home buyer programs that might help you with the down payment. But
Mhm.
the thing is with that, you'll have to pay it back when you sell the house. So say you got down payment assistance and you qualify for it. Now everybody keep in mind you still gotta it's based off credit and job history and a few other things. So if you qualify for the first time home buyer down payment program, is basically whenever you get ready to sell that house that you just bought, they're going to take whatever. So, say like you had a down payment, this might not be exact figures, but say you had a down payment assistant of maybe 10,000. You got to pay that 10,000 back when you sell your home. So they're gonna get that off top, you know. So like I said, it's programs, but you'll have to pay that back when you sell the house, and it's it's a lot of, like I said, a lot of information that's out there now, especially for the public, more available than it was
Like, you know,
30, 40 years ago.
people need to understand this game because a lot of you may be in position to obtain home ownership and just don't believe you can.
Right. That's a lot of
You
people are, you know.
you probably make enough. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You just need to get those other things in order. You need a down payment. You need 2 years of credit. You know what I mean? Or 2 years of reporting history or income or whatever. There's just a few steps. So learn, you know what I mean? Get you a solid realtor like my man Kenneth that to back you and help you walk through this process. Go talk to a realtor, right? If you want to be a homeowner, go talk to a realtor. Someone just like my buddy right here, Kenneth Parlove. You know what I mean? They will guide you through the process. And if you're not in position, they will give you the knowledge you need to get in position. You know what I mean?
And then also keep in mind though, too, and this is what I've been told as I was taking my class, and then I'm still told to this day at the company I'm with, if you call somebody and it's as far as like a realtor and they don't call you back, or you got to chase them down, or it takes them a few days to get back with you, they're not it, you know, because you got to have somebody that's gonna always respond. As far as like say somebody calls me like, hey, I'm such and such, I want some more information. You know, I give them the information and keep in contact with them. If they call me, if I miss their call, you know, life happens. So you're not going to answer your phone all the time, or you're not going to respond to a text all the time. But you have to, especially in real estate, if you got a realtor that's not returning your phone calls, you leave a message, you don't hear from them 2-3 days. Say you're writing an offer on a house. I've been hearing people been writing offers, the realtor don't get back to them, and then all of a sudden the house is pending.
Oh man.
Yeah, like you got communication in this business is the key. Like you can't put people on the back burner and get to them when you feel like it.
No, so, because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that are being transitioned, and it's, you know, there's people, you know, there's people homes. You know what I mean? Like you got to stay on top of your game, and that's a very, very good point.
Yeah, and then for instance, I had something like that happen to me because I needed somebody. This was back in like the summertime. I needed somebody to take pictures of the house that I was listing. A friend of mine recommended somebody to me. So I called dude, left him a message, never answered, or called me. I mean, of course he didn't answer. I left a message, but he never called back. I texted him too. Never heard from him. I'm like, all right, I'm going on to the next, you know?
Right.
Like that's bad business. That's like a lawyer too, for example. Lawyer, you call the lawyer, he answered, you talk to him, but then you call him, he don't return your calls, or she don't return your calls. You call the assistant, they like, oh, such and such is in a meeting, or whatever the case is, I'll forward the message. You still don't hear back, run, because that's not, you know, any type of business, you got to have that communication, you know.
100%.
So definitely for people out there that's, you know, looking, like I said, I'm good with communication. I treat everybody as how I like to be treated. I keep people in the loop of what's going on. There may be some things I don't know, but I got a team behind me, so I can ask them and I'll have the answer, if not the same day, the next day. Right. So I'm always, I mean, it's more stuff for me to work at to get better, but I'm always in the loop with communication. You don't never have to worry about me. And speaking of that, I got a client right now. I had got in like October. So we talked over the phone and I told him basically like, I'm good with communication. I was like, if I don't answer, I'll call you back. If I don't, you know, respond right away to your text, I will, you know, eventually respond, but it won't be dead silent. So like, yeah, I'm like that too. And at first everything was cool. Man, it's been, it's damn near 2 months later. I ain't heard nothing from him. I emailed him, no response. I even got to the point like, hey, I'm calling so-and-so. I'm just calling to check, see if you're all right. How you doing? You know? The last holiday that passed, I even, you know, sent him out a text, hey, happy holiday, hope everything's well. Nothing. I've been talking to some of my friends that's in the business, they was like, well, yeah, maybe some stuff going on, because I kind of actually got worried, but then kind of looked him up on Facebook. He's posted on Facebook, so maybe he just had the jitters or something. I don't know, but it kind of goes both ways,
Right.
But
If something changed, let me know.
right, or just be like, hey, I got some personal stuff. You just hit a text, real quick. But it's just communication is the key. And like I said, if people are out there looking for a realtor, and you call or you message them and they don't respond, find you another one. But
Right.
then another thing though too, I recently, I'm in this group on Facebook. It's called Black People Grand Rapids. I actually got a potential client off there. I gave him my information. And what's crazy though, I'm the type, because I get so many weird calls and people trying to sell me stuff and just a bunch of nonsense and people scamming. So I don't answer the phone if I don't see a number I don't know. And normally, I feel like if it's important, somebody will leave a message. But long story short, dude, I seen the number call a couple times, but I didn't know it was a dude. So he hit me up last week, Friday evening. He's like, hey, I've been trying to reach out. He's like, are you available tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, what time's good for you? He's like, 10 o'clock in the morning, last week, Saturday. So he gave me his number. And sure enough, I looked at my phone. I'm like, damn, dude called me twice. But I end up calling him at our scheduled time. And I'm like, I introduced myself. And I was like, responding from the Facebook when we were talking. And I told him, the first thing I said, I was like, I apologize for missing your call. I didn't do it intentionally. And what I just said to you about how these random numbers, I'm not going to answer. But and I told him too, I was like, some people leave a message, some people don't. I probably may have lost a couple people like that, but if it's important, leave a message or shoot a text, and I get back. But
Right.
it's just
This is something I like to ask all my guests when we wrapping up is what advice would you give, 18-year-old Kenneth? Or
oh man, I would have gave myself some advice that if you're gonna go to college, make sure it's something that's gonna pay off. Because why go, for instance, why go to college just to be a regular nurse? I'm not knocking nobody's field, but I'm just saying this, like you don't want to incur all this debt once you get out of college just to be a regular nurse making 30 to 40,000, and you coming out of school, what, 21, 22 years old, depending on how long you're going, and you coming out $80,000 in debt, and I'm like, I wouldn't change anything, but if I knew back then that maybe I wouldn't have had to go to school to get where I'm at now, I would have just jumped straight into the real estate, And I said, I'm not knocking nobody's job or nothing, because I feel I'm not better than nobody. Like you said earlier, everybody's the same, But it's just like they instilled that in you. You got to go to college to get a good.
That's great advice, because I wish I was doing what I was doing now 20 years ago.
Right. And
25 years ago, 30 years ago, fuck it.
Right. 18, you kind of got an idea, but you kind of don't know, and you pretty much know you want to go to school, but you got to figure out something that as far as college wise, you got to figure something out that's going to be worth it, that's going to pay off, because you don't want to go to school, get $100,000 in debt and you making $40,000 a year, you know, it's kind of senseless. And like I said, I'm not at all, but you gotta have the resources. And back then it was around, but it wasn't available. We didn't have Google back then, you know. Internet was just really
barely,
you know, big back then, you know.
all we had was Napster.
Yeah, man.
That's
Nice.
all we had.
Yeah, that's what I would have told 18-year-old me, like, figure out something that's gonna pay off for you and not pay off for somebody else and have you in debt while you're working. Because the average American coming out of college is in debt if you finish college. A lot of people don't finish college. You still got that money.
Yeah, that's a trap.
Yeah.
Man, that's basically what he's telling you. College can be a trap if you don't utilize it correctly.
Exactly. And like I said, I'm not trying to deter nobody from doing school, because school is
know what you're getting into. I am.
Exactly.
Know what you're getting into.
Where you won't come up out of here and be in debt. Like, you could go to a community college to get you to become an RN. I think they might even these days might have some training on that.
Have a solid plan.
Yeah.
Have a solid plan.
And even you could go to trade school, get you a trade. Carpentry is always going to be around. What else? People that do, what do you call it? Like design kitchens and cabinets and redo.
We teach at K Studios, though. We try to teach entrepreneurship. Like, I'm in the trades. You know, I went to school for carpentry. You know what I mean? I'm in a different trade now, but so you need to develop skills in order to not make minimum wage.
Right, exactly.
Right? If you're gonna do general labor or entry-level work, you're gonna probably make minimum wage. So the way to avoid that is to develop skills like a trade, so you can make a little bit more, and then you invest that money into the extra. You know what I mean? You invest that money into a business or entrepreneurship.
Right.
That's how you do that, man.
Exactly.
I really appreciate having you on, Ken, man. I definitely want to invite you back, man, and get more in depth into this real estate stuff, man. Because
got me on here. It's crazy because we were supposed to do this a few weeks ago, but we kind of forgot and life happened. But was able to connect and be like, man, we still want to do this. Like, So I'm glad we got the time figured out. I thank you for having me on here. Definitely appreciate it. I'd love to come back, sit down and talk to the people and you as well about some more real estate stuff or, whatever the case is.
Right.
But I just want to end it like people got to keep their mind open, because you can do anything you want to do. You just got to keep that mind frame open and always like, I want better. I don't want to sit and struggle my whole life. I don't want to sit here and be 60 or 70 of Lord willing and I don't have nothing,
Man.
I just can't. And we gotta educate, especially our Black people.
Oh yeah, man.
Here.
Definitely. I want to have you back soon, and I want to have you back again when you hit that 3 million goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's what we do, baby.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Conversations with Kaotick with Kenneth Parlove, where we went over a bunch of real estate stuff and then some other things about life. Man, I appreciate y'all listening and viewing. Smash that like button, hit that share, and we'll catch y'all again. K Studios.